Alright, so today we'll be talking about Wealth of Nations. As always, if you want to enable or disable a DLC, you have to go to the DLC tab of the launcher. As for all our tutorials, we do not apply any expansion. As we are talking about the Wealth of Nations expansion, we will press the Wealth of Nations expansion DLC. Let us play. Alright, so Wealth of Nations DLC expansion was released May 29th, 2014 alongside patch 1.6. I consider this DLC to be 100% necessary for playing the game because it adds a lot of good mechanics to the game regardless of whatever nation you're trying to play. It adds a casus belli for trade conflicts. Um, In order to get that, you basically need to do a covert action, justify trade conflict. Uh, so yeah, I believe you need 10% or 20%. Anyways, you get that. Allows you the big bonus for that is if you can dominate the seas around them, they will will receive more likely chance of winning the war. But you can't gain land on that anymore, so it's not a very used CB. Also, it allows you to get a new thing for your new mission called privateering. It's pirating the area, but applies 1.5% of the light ship modifier into that trade node. And if there's a country privateering a trade node, any other country in that has trade in that node that's suffering against it will receive a casus belli against the country that's privateering, so they can declare war. Another thing that exists that I've talked about in a few other videos at this point, but haven't really been able to show, is trade companies. It adds trade companies. The West African, South African. These trade companies, it increases the naval force limit if you assign a... there's a button here. Alright, so you gain this little button. Allows you to assign. Did a little cheat there to gain this, so culture and such it's not going to apply right there. So you get the little button that says assign to a trade company. Sign it. That now appears in your subject tab as the West African Charter. There's interactions you can do with it, maybe. I don't think so in this version, without some more DLC. So a trade company, when you press the button, will apply some reduction in unrest and autonomy. Not autonomy. So they'll give unrest, they will cut your tax down, but increase trade. Yeah. If you get a trade company over 51% of control of the trade node area, so if we had control in the West African Charter here, if we controlled 51% of the trade that's flowing through this area, we'd get a merchant. And that merchant will be applying as long as we control this trade node at that range. Another thing that this DLC expansion does, if there's a merchant republic in their area, this is a merchant republic, provinces next to it will receive nearby merchant and republic modifiers, which will increase the value of local goods which will increase the trade value of the node. There are new options for peace, which is enforced military access and fleet basing rights. I do not sure which one of those um, requires. So this would automatically be applied. I think there requires 10, 10 in peace to get that. There are new ship models in this game for frigates, great frigates, war galleys, galleots, brigs, and trabocals. Yeah, trabacal is a trade, galleot is a galley, great frigate right there, and war galleon. Yeah, galley, war galley. Yeah. All right, so justify trade conflict. In order to do that, you need to spend 10 of your spy network points to, as long as you have a merchant in the node, you have 10% of the trade power and they have 20% of the trade power. You gain a CB for 2 years. It does not allow you to take land, revoke cores, or release vassals or nations. And that's justified trade conflict. So, also in this, if you choose to do it, is dynamic province naming. Normally this would just be in your normal language. So in English this would be Granada, but since this has the dynamic province naming, this is the English variant of the Granadan pronunciation, so it's Granada, and that's dynamic province naming. This also improves the Hindu religion. Whenever you get a new king, you get a chance to select a new deity, which all have their own little additional modifiers. So you get core creation cost, this, depending on how this king is going to play out, you may want to adjust. It allows for a little bit more flexible conquest or stability in your kingdom. You got core creation cost, diplomatic relation, trade. Like this guy really wants to attack. This guy really wants to like vassalize. He needs some money. Having problems. You know, both these apply for money. In terms, this one's just more money. This one's we're in a bad shape. We need that. This one's for fighting, missionary strength, and defense. Another thing added in this DLC expansion is the ability to build canals. If you build a canal, you have to have a certain number of things owned, like Panama, in order to build the Panama Canal, and a couple of things to build the Suez Canal over here. You need 10,000 ducats, and it just presses there. And now it has this little thing, and it's going to try to build this canal across here. And from this, once the canal is built, cancel it. You have the access once it's all countries have access between these two nodes, these two seed zones, and that's basically how a canal works. You need Tech 26 in order to construct it. 10,000 gold, 10,000 gold, and control of 1 or 2 provinces in order to go through. Then simply pressing that button. In general, you don't want to build canals, but they will help. Like this canal doesn't really help that much, but it is useful. This canal helps a lot. But again, you as the owner of this canal, you don't stop people from going through the canal zone. And the Panama Canal, again, you don't stop people from going through the canal zone. That's the only problem. It does take like 10 years or so for that to be done. So this costs 10,000. This one will cost 20,000, and this costs 30,000. The player will receive events during the canal construction in order to either invest monarch points or waste more time, which is the basic negative about this. Delaying it will make more further setbacks worse, so you generally want to just keep pushing forward on the canal zone. Another religion improved during with the expansion is Reformed. It allows you to spend fervor points. Uh, you gain this many fervor per turn, and you currently have this many, so you can spend more than you have as long as you have it banked up. Each of these, I believe, 5 points per month. So yeah, so as long as you have trade active, you'll spend 5 points of fervor per month. I think, yeah, it's a maximum of 100. So while trade, you got war, you got stability. That is basically how Reformed is adjusted. All right, one last thing to talk about is inland trading bonuses. If you look at a trade node that's inland and you have a merchant steering towards it, you'll see this little see this little modifier, inland caravans, providing trade bonus for the push and for the node, resulting in additional modifiers towards basically everything there. They get it's referred to, steering towards inland nodes is referred to as caravan power. Uh, it's basically to offset the whole you can put a number of ships in a trade node and now increase your trade power in that node. This is a flat bonus towards uh, inland trade nodes where you cannot have ships at.